Good morning, everyone. My name is Stephen Ashby, and today I'll be giving my informative speech. This is my audience. I will now begin. The journey of obtaining a driver's license is undoubtedly important. For many people, it can also feel confusing and overwhelming. Some people assume that if you just show up to the DMV and take a test, you'll automatically get a license. But there are several steps you must complete before you can legally drive. For example, you need the right documents, you need to complete the required behind the wheel practice hours, pass a written knowledge test, and then prove your driving skills behind the wheel in front of an instructor. Today I'm going to walk you through the process of getting your driver's license. I'll cover three main things: what you need to qualify for a learner's permit, including documentation and practice, what the written test looks like, including the type of questions and paperwork, and what the driver's test looks like, and the most common mistakes people make to fail the test. First, I'll explain the requirements to get your learner's permit. Before you plan the test, you need to make sure you're eligible and you have everything prepared, because the DMV process requires paperwork and practice hours. Knowing the rules ahead of time helps you avoid last-minute stress or confusion. To start, you need three things: your birth certificate or a valid passport, proof of residency such as an insurance or utility bill or school record, and your social security number. You must also meet the permit age requirements for your state. For California, the minimum required age is 15 and a half, and for minors taking the driver's test, you usually need parental consent, especially if you're doing the online practice or required steps before you can drive more independently. Finally, you must meet the supervised driving hour requirements. In addition, learner's permits and provisional licenses also come with restrictions, like the number and age of passengers you may carry, and there are curfew limitations for driving at certain times. So at this stage, you must focus on getting prepared, gathering your documents, completing the required practice hours, and understanding the restrictions you must follow. Once you have your learner's permit, you'll be eligible to test. The next step is the knowledge test. This test checks your understanding of road signs, traffic rules, and safe driving practices. That's why reading the driver's manual is critical, not optional. The written test is usually multiple choice, with a set number of questions, often around 36 to 46 depending on state, and you typically need at least an 80 to 85 to pass. You can miss up to 8 in California, but that varies state to state as there are different amount of questions per each test in each state. There may not be a strict official time limit, but the test usually takes about 30 to 45 minutes. The test covers things like road signs, traffic laws, and safe driving procedures. The best way to prepare is to use the official driver's manual on the DMV website and using practice tests from various websites to get familiar with the information, the style, and the difficulty of the questions. You'll also need to complete required forms, like the DMV application, and pay any testing fees. In some cases, you may also need proof of insurance or a signature from a parent or guardian, especially if you're under 18. Scheduling online can help you avoid long waits. After you pass your knowledge test, the final step is the one that matters most: the behind-the-wheel driving test. This is where your actual driving skills are evaluated in real-life driving conditions. Before you even start driving, you will be asked to do a vehicle inspection. For example, checking that you have your basic turn signals, brake lights, horn, tires, and lights are functioning. You'll also be evaluated on basic maneuvers such as a smoothing startup, stopping, driving straight, reversing, and skills like making U-turns or a three-point turn or parallel parking. Next, you'll drive into traffic while the examiner checks whether you follow the rules and drive safely. This includes lane changes, checking your blind spot, turning properly, correct behavior at intersections, and how you use your mirrors and how you signal turns. Examiners also look for defensive driving, like scanning intersections before entering, keeping a safe following distance, often described 2 to 4 seconds, or like a car, 2 carlets in front of you, and controlling your speed. You'll also need to be aware of pedestrians, cyclists, and other hazards. Many people fail the test due to avoidable mistakes, such as rolling through a stop sign instead of fully stopping, not checking completely at red lights, not checking your blind spots before changing lanes or merging, and using turn signals incorrectly, either too early or too late. If you focus on these areas, you can prevent the most common reasons why people fail. In conclusion, getting your driver's license is not just one test, it's a process that requires a lot of preparation and practice. First, you need to collect all the required documents and have the knowledge completed to pass the required practice hours. Secondly, you need to prepare and pass the knowledge test by studying the driver's manual on the DMV website. And lastly, you need to demonstrate safe driving practice skills on the behind the wheel test, avoiding common errors like rolling stops and not checking blind spots to pass. Whether you're preparing for your learner's permit test or getting ready to take your actual behind the wheel test, knowing each step of the process is ideal and will help reduce stress and increase your chances of passing on your first attempt. Thank you for listening.